We're gonna start. That's right. So let's see. Let's see now. I think I'm recording now. So thank you so much for joining us at the Princess of Suburbia Book Club series, where we do things in an authentic fashion. For those who were here, last Thursday was the very first book club series that we had, and it was awesome, totally awesome. We had some great discussions right based out of the book, a new book that just came out, which is called Release Your Vision Touch, Release Your Vision Touch, a Success Blueprint. And this came up about maybe a week and a half ago. And of course, it also comes with a daily nugget, and of course it comes with a journal too. And so we are going to continue on our discussion. And of course, I'm gonna have him introduce himself, right, Dotun? I want you to introduce yourself to the people. So I want you, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dotun Eliezer. And please, can you introduce yourself? Perhaps you want to correct me with the way that I mentioned your last name, because you're confusing me. I see Dotun, which is Yoruba, and Eliezer, that don't sound like Yoruba. So can you correct me there, because something's off somewhere there.
Something is wrong somewhere.
Yeah, something's off. I'm just waiting on you to check me.
Okay. So it's my name is Dotun Eliezer. So Eliezer means God is my help.
Oh.
And it's from Exodus 18:4, where it says about Moses' child that God is my helper, and he has really been. It makes a whole lot of difference. I used to bear the last name Abidogun, which means born in preparation for war.
Yeah, so Lord Jesus.
You begin to put things together and know where I'm coming from when I say, yes, God has really been my helper. In any case, a little bit about myself. I'm a management consultant, CPA, and a certified coach with the John Maxwell Team. And in the past 25 years, essentially, I've been helping organizations in the area of helping them to be more profitable in the use of systems, technology, and improved business processes. More recently, I'm extending these successes to individuals, because I believe much more than the organizations that I've been helping, what makes the organizations are the individuals themselves that work in those organizations. Individuals who have great dreams in them, individuals who have great potentials in them, but for some reason they get stuck in what they need to achieve in life. And so I see that the next step of my life is extending my experience, my successes, to help them find their path in life and to help them to be able to start their dream businesses, leveraging systems, technology, and improved business processes. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. Currently, I'm based in Western Canada, to be precise, in the Edmonton area in the Alberta province, and that's in Western Canada. So
awesome.
That's who I am.
Let me do. Awesome. Let me quickly just respond to there's somebody on what do you call it, on Periscope right now that cannot find us on Blab. So Fancy Flower, if you're still there, Blab, BLAB, B as in boy, LAB.IM, M as in Mary, then / my Twitter, my handle name, Princess in Sub. Blab, like you're blabbing your mouth. Blab.im / Princess in Sub. So thank you so much for introducing yourself, because I feel like it's always best to just have the person introduce themselves instead of me just trying to butcher things here. So thank you so much for actually volunteering to be search for book club. No, do not. Oh, okay. All right. I thought that was somebody else. Okay.
No.
So, okay, that's you, right? Okay, cool. So this is where we were. Last week, we were talking about the preface to the book itself.
Yeah.
We talked about the situation where we know that a lot of people hate their jobs. We mentioned we put some polls out, and we mentioned that in America alone, that when Forbes and a couple of other magazines did their review, they found out that 75% hated their jobs. And then now, when they now took it outside of the US and put it all over the world, then all over the world, then we found out that it wasn't just 75 people, 75%, it was 80% that hated their jobs.
Yeah.
And so we're now looking, which segues into why it's important for us to find our passion, stick with our passion, and truly do what we love to do. But for us to be able to get to that point, there are certain things that we have to do in our lives, right, Dotun?
Yeah. There are certain things we need to do in our lives, definitely.
Yeah.
And again, one of the, as we flow into our discussion for today and reviewing the chapter in depth, what jumps at me is that rather than settle for security in life, it's more beneficial for us to settle for freedom. Because those are the two quadrants in which we find ourselves. There are 4 types of people in this world, in the vocation that we do. So those who are 80% of us will love our jobs for the security of the paycheck to paycheck thing. And then maybe another 16% who are like self-employed people, or maybe people we call solopreneurs. They are not fully business owners or investors, right? And again, if you look at their model, because of the fact that, yes, they earn a little bit more, a lot more, probably they are the specialists, they are like the contractors and things like that. But then again, the model is such that they are capped. So they're on the left side of the quadrant, which I'm trying to explain here, which has to do with security. They can't do much more than that. They are really capped. They only accept what life gives to them. And because of that, they go through life not really fulfilling their potential. Whereas on the other side of the quadrant, the other 2 quadrants, we have those who are real business owners. And those in that quadrant form like maybe about 3% of the population. And then the last quadrant, which is the investors, the true investors, active investors, not people investing in like RRSP or 401k, no, active investors. Wow. Those form like the 1% of the population. And guess what? This 1% actually control more than 90% of the wealth.
Say that again. Say that again.
This 1% of the population actually control more than 90% of the wealth.
Oh my.
That's the reality. Wow. But what they have decided to do is that they've decided to jump out into the courage zone. That's the business owners and the investors. They've jumped out of their comfort zone into the courage zone and do whatever it takes for them to have their true freedom in life.
Wow.
And so because of that, in the process, they discover their potential, they fulfill their potential, and they add tremendous value onto society.
Oh, wow.
And guess what? The law of compensation is no respecter of persons, because the law of compensation in our world aligns with God's principle.
That's
the more
right.
you add value, the more you'll be compensated. So these people who are on the right quadrant, the 3% business of the population, which are business owners, and 1% which are investors, they're adding tremendous value. People get jealous of them, not knowing what they have to go through, and they end up employing the people on the left who are only concerned about their security, which is not really secure, of paycheck to paycheck kind of thing.
Oh my, oh my.
And because the active time they have in life, so what's the active time we have on a daily basis? Is that time when we can really do something with our time.
Yes.
which is between 8 to 4. When you get back from your job at 5,
you're tired.
There's nothing you can do. That day is gone. And so what that means is that you are mortgaging actually your destiny by settling for what is less.
So to say that again, you are doing what?
Mortgaging your destiny just because of the fact that you've decided to accept what is less of you in the name of security, which is paycheck to paycheck. So the model is, which we've grown up with, is that you get a good education so that you can get a good job. And then when you get a good job, you work for so many years until you earn enough to retire. And then by the time you retire, life is gone.
Wow. You are mortgaging. I love that phrase. You are mortgaging. You are actually mortgaging your destiny. You're mortgaging. Ooh, yeah. I love that. I love that. You know, with what you just said now, I want to segue into the first what do you call it? When you look at this book, the first phrase that is on that book right there.
Yeah.
And it says, the way you choose to write your story will determine your outcome. Yeah. Write with intention and curiosity, because curiosity is the seat of innovation and purpose discovery. That's what you just described to us right now. This is exactly what you just described. And I gotta tell you, let me just quickly share a story that because my dad used to work for then called Gulf Oil Company, and now it's called Chevron here. And he worked in the US, he worked in London, he worked all over the world for them. And I remember growing up, and he would always say to us, you work hard, you go to school, you get all the degrees, you work hard, and then after 40 years or whatever, you know, you retire, and you know, you're set. So I heard that all my life, right? Yeah. I heard that all my life. Even though there was this entrepreneur, and the funny part was, my dad was also entrepreneurship. He owned homes, he owned houses, he owned properties, he owned estates, but he still kept the daytime job. And so I heard that all my life. But was it interesting? About a few years, barely 2 years ago, then I started talking to my dad again, and we were talking about one of my other sisters, how every time she would leave and she would talk to us about how she hated her job. And so we all just started talking, and all of a sudden I heard my dad say, well, quick, I had to pass out. I had to literally am I going to pass out right now? Dad, did you say quit? He said, yeah, quit and do what you love. I said, all my life, all my 50-something years, I've heard you say, go to school. I said, because of that now, I've ended up with 2 doctorate degrees, ladies and gentlemen. 2 doctorate degrees, and I'm still not satisfied. Yeah. All right. And I said, now, 2 years later, you're now telling us, after 2 doctorate degree, quit your job? What changed? And my dad said, I've realized that doesn't work. I've realized that what you've done is like you're just living because, but you're not really living. You're not living life, but you're just, you're doing life, but you're not living life. My dad said you're doing life. When you do that, what you're doing is you're doing life, but you're not really living. And you don't live until you start to do what you desire and you love to do. Talk to us a little bit more about that, Dotun.
So just to chime in on that, I'll just is it okay if I share a little bit of my experience from my parents, what I learned from my parents? So I mean, just this. Let me show you. That's my dad. That's my dad. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My dad had something like that. Yeah.
At the peak of his career from Unilever.
Wow.
As in Nigeria as their chairman and CEO. So he got to the peak of his career. And when he retired in 1987, I remembered what he said. After they've sent him off and everything, he said he sort of like regretted that he had worked so hard for the company, and in the process even not having enough time for his family. Because at the end, you know what? They appreciate you and everything, but when the reality comes, you are just another number. And so they fulfill their obligation and they send you off. So I got that from him. Then my mother also, she retired from the Ministry of Education back home in Nigeria. And she also got to the peak of her career as an inspector of education. And so she retired, I think, in 1983. And then they gave her a gratuity and all the package, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in that same year, she started a business. She started a business by being a distributor of one of the products out there. That's Berg battery. And in the first month of launching our business, I remember what she said back then, even though I was small. She said, wow, I should have started this a long time ago, because at the end of the first month, what I realized from this business surpasses all the gratuity and the entitlement that they gave to me. I haven't spent so many years in service that this is what I should have been doing.
Look at that. Look at that.
I remember that. I remember my dad's experience, who retired as a chairman, CEO from Unilever, when they did all the deductions and everything. Wherever the reconciliation was, it was like next to nothing that they packaged him out with. And then my mom, who in the first month of our launching our business, that was our comment, that all the gratuity and entitlement they gave to me in my first month, I surpassed it in my business.
Look at that. Look at that.
So since then, it was like, okay, I mean, I think that was imprinted in me to say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to settle in for that line of a full-time job when I start life. So
let's segue into what this chapter about, because we're really talking about moving from negative, right, to positive. And so even from both our examples now, we're really seeing how if we had to do it all over again, even myself, when I look back at, I was one of those that really started school like probably at 1 year old, right? And by the time I was 16 going on 17, I had my first degree at IFE. And if I knew what I know now, can you imagine where I would be now if I knew what I knew now? But back then, like I said, all we were taught was, all right, that's good now, child. You finished at a very great age. Now let's get some more degrees and then find you this big company, and then you can just sit back and just let it roll, right? And that's what we learned. But if I know what I know now, I probably at that age would have gone further. If I knew I always wanted to be a writer, but back then I didn't even know that there was anything like entrepreneur. Like, you know, you can be an author and an entrepreneur. I could not put those two together. Back then it was like you were either a writer, and a writer, they're like paupers, you know. You know, you're just writing because you have a cause, not because you want to make a business out of writing. And so I did not even know that. It was much, much later that I began to know that even as an author, I can actually become a business person as an author. Because even as an author, you can do other things with that writing. There's so many speaking engagement. There's so many things, products creation, content creation, so many things that you could do. Talk to us about how do we segue from negative, because we've talked about all the negative, why we need to not settle. Because many of us, even those who are listening to me right now, we're settling and we know it. We're settling because we're afraid. We're settling because we just think, some of us, we're thinking our age. We're thinking about age now. Some of us, we're thinking about fear. Some of us, we're just thinking about, okay, now, you know, it sounds good. I go to church. They tell me give is given unto you, you know, good measure, press that shaking. I run around the church. I'm excited. I hear the preacher. But then when I get home, you know, I'm hit with the bills. I'm hit with the lights. I'm hit with all this. I'm hit with children that need money. How do we talk to us a little bit about what are your thoughts? Talk to us. I want you to use the book, begin to segue now, and let's talk. Let's do some more talking. Yeah, we're preaching, right?
Okay, so I'm just going to refer to page 18 of the book, where you had described the fact that in life sometimes we go through negative experiences, and in as much as the experiences we go through in life actually shape us into what we become, we have a choice. We have a choice to allow that, to accept that, or to rise above that. So in that verse 18, you said, choose today to be rid of fear and allow faith, hope, boldness, and assurance that all things will work together for you. So yes, negative things happen to us. In fact, some will say, those who follow some philosophical ideas, they will say all things happen for a reason.
That's right.
That's right. But it's now left for us to choose whether we want to leverage those experiences so that it helps us to become what we ought to be, or we accept those experiences and then in the process we mortgage the greater things that could have happened to us in life. So that's the way I see that. And so it comes back to what I will just quickly explain in terms of how do things form. Oh, we just lost you, I think. Are you still there? Okay. So yeah, negative experiences happen to us, but what can we do with those negative experiences? So the right thing to do with the negative experiences is to leverage those experiences so that it helps us to become what we ought to be. And so you did mention the fact that the words that we allow or that we accept or that we use are very powerful.
That's right.
And that's where I want to set a premise here, if I may, with what I learned from reviewing this chapter. And so what I said is that, yes, words are very powerful. Our subconscious, whether we know it or not, receives the information, words, every day. We are receiving information every day in the form of words and images and those things and other things. And those are the things that shapes us, programs us in the subconscious. And then before we know it, it shapes us into what we become. Why? Because when we receive the words, whether positive or negative, they become the thoughts that we form.
Yeah.
The thoughts that we form affects our feelings.
That's right.
The feelings that we have about something will determine the kind of action that we will take. And then the action we take automatically gives us the kind of results we get. So in life right now, if you are not happy with your results, guess what? You need to go check out the kind of actions you are taking. You need to reverse engineer that into the kind of thoughts that you have concerning that thing. So for example, I'll just place this up here. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes, I can. Can everybody see that?
So negative. So for this person, that person was looking to lose weight, but it says, losing weight will require a lot of exercise. So it's hard to exercise, so you already formed that thought.
Yeah.
And because you already formed that thought, what was the feeling? The feeling is that I don't really feel like it. Why? Because the thought there in the subconscious is that exercise is very hard. For me to lose weight, it will require exercise, and exercise is hard. So because of that, the feeling is that, you know what? I'm not interested in this. And because that was the feeling, what action did he take? Rather than exercise, let me go and nap. That was the action. And then, of course, it continues to nap. We all know what the results will be. The weight will continue to increase. That's a negative outcome.
So, Doctor, why did you choose that? Because are you talking to me here, or because I feel like you are in my bedroom right now, and I'm not really appreciating you right now because I feel like you're in my kitchen, you're in my bedroom, you're everywhere. Because I'm looking at those signs, it's like, oh, I think I did that today. Like, you know what? I'm gonna skip my exercise today.
So, I mean, the results we get in life start from the kind of words that we've allowed into our subconscious, because those words form our thoughts. And then it translates into the feelings we have, and it will determine the action that we take, which will determine the results that we get.
Wow.
And so for a positive experience, it's the same thing as well. So for this person, the person was saying, you know what? I desire to earn $20,000 per month.
Yes.
In passive income.
Yes.
Residual income. So that I don't have to exchange my precious time earning revenue. I can use my precious time to help people to pursue my mission in life, to pursue my purpose in life, while I earn residual income. So that was the thought it formed. Because of that, the feeling was excitement. Oh, I imagine what this will look like. I won't have to go through the 9-to-5 rat race, especially on the Monday morning, where 80% of the people, as we know, hate their jobs, and they still keep going to those jobs, and they still keep looking for the next job, you know, for what they hate.
That's right.
No, this is a better deal. I will go with this. So that formed the feeling of excitement. And because of that, that motivated him to begin to take the right action, starting with the business plan. I must get this done now. I see this happening. This is doable. And before you know it, he started implementing his plan. And guess what? That was the outcome. $20,000.
Wow.
So what I learned from that is that our success is our choice.
That's right.
We already have what we need to succeed in life.
That's right.
It's in there.
That's right.
It has to do with what we allow, what we accept, or what we leverage.
That's right. I love it. I love it. So I want to use that, what you just shared right now, in page 17. It says, life is not happening to us. We are participants. Life is not happening to us. And there are times many of us are out there, we're living life as if, oh, look at what this person did to me. Look at what that person did to me. Oh, it's because of money that I could not start a business. Oh, it's because of this boss that I could not do this. Oh, it's because of that. Life is not, people, life is not happening to us. We are participants, just like Dotun just said. We are participants. And what you get out of it, what you put in it, is what you're going to get out of it. So choose today to be rid of fear and allow faith, hope, boldness, assurance that all things will work together for you. So if you take away the fear, if you remove the fear from you right now, and you understand and you start on the basis that you know that all things will work together for you, then boldness should arise enough for you to now get to a point, just like the way Dotun, I'm telling you, Dotun, I don't think I'm ever going to forget those images in my head again. You know, the next time, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to look at my exercising machine in a very different way, because I'm going to see those little yellow characters right all over it. And I'm going to see myself lose all this weight. I'm going to see my image and my picture, and I'm going to hop on that bike and do what I need to do. And that is the same. Isn't that the same way that we have to look at life too? Isn't that the same way we have to look at what we do too, Dotun?
Yes, that's how we need to look at life. And again, without apologies here, I'm a person of faith. And where I am today will not be without faith in my life.
That's
I know
right.
Not everybody agrees to that, but that's what has worked for me. I don't know any other thing. And so referring back to what, I mean, the fact that I acknowledge that my life becomes complete when I align myself with a higher power. That's because then what happens is that every resource I need flows into me.
That's right.
It flows into me, it flows into my subconscious and begins to shape who I ought to be, what I've been designed to be in life when I make that alignment. And I just want to quickly refer to a popular scripture here, which says, 2 Corinthians 10:5, it says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing to captivity every thought. That thought thing again, every thought, bringing into captivity every thought. You need to have a filter in your thought life, because if you don't, if you just allow everything to come, garbage in, well, garbage out. And so it is powerful. And you know the irony of this, many things that we are following in terms of practices today borrowed their principles even from the infinite intelligence, God himself.
That's right.
Without acknowledging it, without, deliberately choosing not to acknowledge it. So, for example, meditation is a practice that is very, 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 very popular these days. Oh, people are recognizing the reason why they should meditate. And I've been to some of these secular trainings where they take you through that process, which is good. I'd say the reason why you should meditate is that you learn to listen to your breath. What are they saying? What is the source of your breath? In Genesis 2, it says, and God formed man out of the dust, and he breathed into him, and man became a living soul. So when they are saying in meditation, listen to your breath, essentially they are saying, listen to God, who is your maker, because he's the one who owns your breath. So when you make that alignment with your breath, which is God, every resource you need to be successful in life comes in. Not only that, it says in Joshua 1:8, it says, you shall observe to meditate on everything that is written in this, and to do everything that is written in it day and night. Then you will make your own way prosperous and you have good success. So what I learned from that is that every individual, whether they acknowledge God or not, it's up to them to choose their own path of success in life.
Wow.
Everything you need has been given to you, if only you will look inwards and leverage those. Which comes back to the thought process thing again. What are you aligning? Yes, negative experiences happen to everyone, but how do you leverage those experiences to your advantage? Are you cowing in and accepting what life throws at you, and then you mortgage your destiny in the process? Or you are saying, this is a painful experience, but I choose to ride over it because it's the launching pad that I need to the next level that I want to go to in life.
That's right.
So that's the way I see it. So moving from negative to positive experience, really, it's up to us. We are not guaranteed that we will not have negative experiences.
That's right.
Anyone who has that kind of mindset is not being real with life. We will all have negative experiences at one time or the other. But what you choose to do with it is what will make a whole lot of difference. And it starts with your thought mind.
Wow, awesome. Now let me share this. Page 19 says, Albert Einstein? It says, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. And what we're talking about here is being a man or woman of value. So you were born to succeed. You were made for greatness, designed for victory, and called to a higher ground where all things are possible. But it is ultimately your choice what you do with your calling. Isn't that awesome?
That's true. That's it.
That's what you've been talking about. That's what you've been talking about, isn't it?
That is it. That's it. That's why I refer to that popular scripture, that favorite scripture of mine, Joshua 1:8, because essentially, God is saying, you know what? You have everything you need to succeed in life. It's your choice. If so the normal thinking is that, oh, God will make me to succeed. No, he's saying, no, it's your choice.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Say that again. So, because many of us are there, which means many of us have been misfiring with our prayers,
exactly.
haven't we?
It's your choice. That was what he was telling Joshua. It's your choice. The thoughts that you align to your life, what you choose to meditate on, and the actions that you take from those meditation will determine what will happen to you in life. If you choose to align with everything that is written in here, which is not religion, which is actually success principle, you can see that Wisdom Bible, success principle, which many of the world practices are borrowing without giving due credit to where it comes from. They call it,
that's right,
nice names.
Isn't that something?
Listening to your breath, there's nothing bad in that.
And they package it well.
Listen to your breath. Who is the owner of the breath? Who determines whether you stay alive the next minute? Oh, it's evolution. Is that what determines whether you live the next minute? Is there evolution that will determine whether you live the next minute? Who determines whether you wake up the next morning?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it you that determines whether you wake up the next morning once you are asleep?
Wow.
So it's saying, if you choose to align with the principles that I've laid down for you, you have everything you need in life to succeed. If you choose to do them and take action, which is the key step again, taking action, not just wishing it, but taking action. Yeah. Then you will get the results. You will.
Oh, you know what? I want to say something, because I like what you said, that taking action, because a lot of times I want us to talk a little bit about, because we all are Christians here. And I know for with me growing up, I've been to churches where people will dance around and just, because they hear a prophecy, then they think that they don't have to do anything anymore. They think that prophecy means that automatically that thing is just going to see them on the street and bounce on them. If somebody came to me now and told me that, look, Princess, you're going to be an attorney. I see you being an attorney in your future, and I don't go to law school. Is that going to happen, Dotun? I'm just checking.
Not going to happen.
Okay. All right. And I think that's the attitude that some of us, we walk with the prophetic. Yes. That's the thing that some of us go through, because number one, we don't want to do the work. We don't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
And so when we hear a word of wisdom, a word of knowledge, or prophetic, whatever you call it, is the instant thing is just to say, thank you, Jesus, when? Meanwhile, God is just saying, no, I just gave you the guiding light that you're on the right path. So now put your foot to work.
Yeah.
And that's just what that is. Can you share that with them? Share your thoughts on that.
And yes, I agree with you, man. Where we are coming from that. I mean, I've been of that mindset until I had better understanding of the fact that, you know what? Yes, you receive prophecy. It should be a guiding light to say, right now, let me fire off, not waiting for the manna to fall from heaven. So to speak, that kind of mindset. To say it will just happen by chance. Circumstances will just maneuver through maneuver me through life, and then it will just happen somehow because God is in control, is in perfect control and things like that. And yes, he is in control, and yes, he can work out miracles. But one thing I've also learned is that most times we switch things around. Where we need to apply the principle of the miracle working power of God, exactly, right? We switch it around. Where we need to apply the principles of God to make things work, we expect miracles to work for us in those situations.
That's right.
So when, for example, you said in the book that if you have your car parked and you gather prayer warriors, let us begin to fire prayers right now for this car to move. You know that that essentially is like madness. It's insanity.
Yeah, it is insanity.
Let's fire prayers. This car must move. God himself will be laughing at, who are these jokers, for goodness sake? Just get in the car, start the car, and let the thing move.
Exactly.
Principle, not miracle.
Exactly.
You know? So what I learned from that is that as we grow through this, taking action is very important.
Yeah.
Moses was saying, oh, God, now we are faced with the Red Sea. The Pharaoh army is coming.
Yeah.
What do we do? You know what God told him? He said, you people have been there for too long. Come on, move.
That's it. That's it.
Come on, move.
That's it.
And immediately they moved, the Red Sea parted.
That's it. That's it.
So many times, God may be saying to us, you've been on the same spot for too long. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've believed, you've done your daily affirmations. What next? Come on, move.
Exactly. And do you know that we are in the era 2016? From what I have sensed in my spirit, is a year to leap, is a year to jump. And so when I hear that in my spirit, it means it's a year to put your feet to work, and that when you put your feet to work, you will actually manifest what you work at. It's not a magical year. It's not a year where we should sit back and be expecting magic. And I think that there are times many of us don't know the difference between magic and miracle. And what God has showed me is that the miracle that I'm looking for is me, because he created me in his image. And when he created me in his image and he gave me everything that I need, he breathed life into me. So whatever the miracle that I'm looking for, he's already created it, and which is me.
Yeah.
I am the miracle that I'm looking out there for. So ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're looking, you are the miracle. And God is just wanting you now to just make your miracle work. Talk to us, Dotun.
I was just looking at some of the comments here to see whether anyone had a question or something. So
you know what? I think we have to scroll up a little bit, because there are just some comments as to it's so easy to think negative, like it is to grow weeds. That is, it's so easy. Abundance, you said, it's very, very easy to just think negative at all the times. Nkechi said something a while ago, action equals results. And then says we need to learn from our negative experiences. And for me, many of you who've been on my scope, you hear me talk a lot about the valley shakers and the mountain movers. And when you are in your valley, that's when God molds and shapes you. That's when you become you, really. That's when you grow. That's when things advance in your life. So that everything that you need, all the equipment you need to be able to sustain your mountain, when you are up in the mountain, you actually develop it in the valley. But many of us want to dance around the valley and not go through the valley at all. If we don't have to experience valley, we don't want to experience valley. But mountain does not exist without the valley. So either way, you're going to have to do some valley to experience mountain experience. So talk to us again. I want to hear from you again, Dotun. What else do you want to share with us where this book is concerned, and what give us some words of wisdom here.
Okay, so the other thing, I actually have three points that I wanted to call out, and I think I've called out two. One is that we need to take control of our thought life. I think I've mentioned that specifically, and I cited examples, references from the Bible for that, because I believe the source of life and the source of truth flows from that, irrespective of whatever we try to call it today in the nice words and terms that we use, in the secular thinking frame of mind that we find ourselves in today's world. Really, it flows from that. The other thing I said was that we need to align ourselves with the higher power, who is God himself. because that's when things begin to operate for us as we were designed to be in life. And so I think the third aspect now has to do with mind transformation itself, which I think is very key when we're talking about how do we move from negative to positive. And so, because it has to do with the subconscious programming that we've allowed in our lives right from our childhood up to where we are right now in life. And that takes work, because Rome is not built, a city is not built in a day. It will test our tenacity. It will test our resolve for us to be persistent, even in those areas, because it's something you have to do on a daily basis and consciously work out in your life for you to now be able to take mastery of your thought life and to be able to align your actions with your thought life. Because when you do, and you have that perfect alignment, you are true to yourself, then things begin to happen. Things begin to happen. Things begin to happen, and you begin to achieve great results in life. So that mind transformation thing, I think, is the third aspect, which is very essential if we must make that transition. And again, it comes back to what do we do? So, as I said, from some of the seminars I've attended, it's called positive thinking, affirmations, right? Saying positive things that we expect of ourselves. And again, the blueprint is from Joshua 1:8. What can be more powerful than God's word? That's right. God's word that is both spirit and life. What can be more powerful? Every success principle that you are looking for in life flows from here. It's just that we have not taken the time to break them down to know how it can help us in family life, in business. Do you, for example, know that in Isaiah 48 verse 17, it says, I am the Lord that will teach you how to profit. God is a businessman. It says, I am the Lord that will teach you how to profit. So you're a businessman, you want to profit. Why do you sell business to profit? It says, I will teach you how to profit. Jacob served his uncle for 14 years in the house of Laban. Bible says that his wages, which comes to the job thing again, this was a person serving his own uncle. Even his uncle behaved like the typical employer. He changed his wages more than 10 times. He would have left the house of Laban without anything to show for it, which is what the job life is about. You work for so many years without anything to show for it.
Wow.
You know, and I cited my dad's example, for example, my mom's example and things like that. That's what I've learned. You work for so many years really without anything to show for it, because that's what it's meant for. You are a laborer as when you have a job. I've not seen anyone who prospered through a job, because it's job. It's just over broke. It's just to keep you going. It's just to help you pay the bills. And life is much more than bills. So Jacob, even in the house of Laban, his uncle, he could not prosper, if not that God gave him a miracle idea on how to, lay the streaks before the sheep, and then they bring, they give birth to the stronger breed, which became his own. That was what saved him. He would have left his uncle's house without anything to show for it. Wow. And so it comes back to the fact that we need to understand that everything we want in terms of life success is found, first of all, by aligning ourselves with the higher power, and then acknowledging that we need to be responsible for what we align to our lives, and then work on ensuring that we feed on the positive things that will help us transform our thinking, because that's where the battle is won. If you can overcome your paradigm, then more than 80% of the work is already done, because that's where the success takes place, in your mind. The mind transformation thing.
Wow. Now, Ramona has a question. Ramona Jones, life coach on Periscope. And this is her question. What strategies have helped you narrow down your next step when you have a lot of irons in the fire? I'm interested in this one too.
And yes, when you have a lot of irons in the fire, which is as an entrepreneur, the temptation that you have to overcome. I think it has to do with the fact that acknowledging the fact that we are human and that we can easily be distracted. Most times we sort of like equate how busy you are with the level of activities, or how productive you are with the level of activities that is going on in your life. And as I grow in that area of entrepreneurship, I'm beginning to see that less is more.
That's it.
You need to be focused. So what you want to do again is going back, answering the question directly. If you have too many things in the fire, that means you need to make a reassessment of what is necessary. And how will you determine what is necessary? You need to cycle back to what is your purpose in life.
That's it. I love this.
What is your purpose in life? If you are clear about that, then you use that to strike off what you need not be involved in.
That's it.
You just strike it out. You'll be ruthless with it.
But you know what though? You answered it the way I would have answered it, because I know with myself, because I'm artistic, I get in a moment when I'm doing a lot that I tell, if I'm not careful, I will want to do everything, because every idea that comes to you might be great, but that might not be the right season for it. And for some people that I'm mentoring, there are some people that are in my writing course that I do tell them that, number one, create yourself a prosperity plan. When you have a prosperity plan, first of all, know who you are, just like Dotun said, know your identity, understand your identity. If you have too many things juggling, you might be going through a little bit of identity crisis and you're not aware of it. It might just be that you need to look at it and you now need to prioritize what you have and say to yourself, okay, right now, I know I have 5 things in my bowl, but what is my legacy statement? What is it that I'm called to do? What is it that I'm called to do? Out of those things, what is it that I'm called to do this season, right now? And I'm telling you, cannot be called to everything in the same season. There are seasons for everything, and that's where you now have to now sit down. When you have a prosperity plan, and when I talk about prosperity, I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about wealth all around. And when you look at your prosperity plan, then it will point you, because you have your legacy plan, you know who you are, you know your identity, you now have a prosperity plan. Now you are able to now assess, okay, now maybe I wanted to write now. Okay, if I write now, perhaps if I make a book now, it will quickly help me to become a speaker, or if I become a speaker, it will help me to become a teacher. You will have to be able to prioritize things. You cannot do everything at the same time and expect to be great at anything. You'll be good, you'll be good, but you will not be great. So it's time to look at the paper again and say to yourself, what is it that I have to do? What am I called to in this season? This season, because you are not called to everything in the same season.
And that's right. That's right, man. So the seasons of life, I was going to cycle back into that. We need to recognize the season that we are in life. So there is the morning season of our lives, which has to do with when we set the foundation. There is also the afternoon season of our life, which overlaps into when we begin to train and we begin to consolidate on the trainings that we have. And then towards the end, when we begin to now use it in active service to add value into the life of others. Right. Those are the kind of things that happen in our afternoon season. So we need to understand, in what season of life am I in right now? Am I in the preparatory, the learning stage of my life, where I need to go through certain experiences and gather some and have some skills and have some experience that I will bring on board in order to be able to write my story in such a way that it affects other people's life. So if we understand that, then we will know, we can use that as a guide to again prioritize on what we need to be focusing on at that time.
With what you just said now, I was just thinking about everything you were saying, and because I'm a writer, I tend to write. I tend to think in writing perspective, and so some of the writers that I work with, I always tell them, for you to write your life story, not every story, not every experience belong in your life story at the same time. But many of us, for me, I made that error. The very first book I wrote, I put everything in it. And I'm telling you, it's been since 1995. I'm telling you right now, there's still some parts of that is still unfolding that I should not have necessarily released in 1990 something. And even there's some of it that I wrote that maybe I even had no business releasing at all, period. And so that's why you have to look at yourself right now. It's great that you have all these ideas coming at you in a speed of light, but just like Dotun said, you have to get to a point and say, all right, now, which season am I in? Okay, this is the season to grow here. This is the season to water here. This is the season to plant here. This is the season to walk and run. And once you define what your season you are in, then you can actually put those little things, ideas that you have, and you can put them in the season, and then you can rest knowing that whatever does not come in this season is because you're not ready for it. There's still something that you still need to add to it to make it even more powerful and more potent when you're ready to release it. Any words of advice again for our listeners?
Any words of advice?
Yeah.
I mean, in that aspect, I think you've nailed it, and again, it comes back to clarity of our purpose in life, so to speak. We really need to. I think it's a continuous improvement cycle that we need to go through in life, to continuously check with our maker where we ought to be, because it goes through. Sometimes it goes through a detour and things like that. And we go through different phases of life and things like that. So at every point in time, we need to keep checking in to have that perfect alignment, so that at any point in time, we do not run off in a tangent. Because as humans, we are limited in our thinking. The way we think is not the way God thinks. The way we approach situations is not the way God approaches situations. He is very strategic. So what may not make sense to us most times actually makes perfect sense to God, because he has a greater purpose. Our life in itself is not a standalone thing. It fits into other greater purposes. There are things that we will not be able to achieve, which is even part of the vision God has given to us, because every true vision will outlive the visionary. That's the truth. Every true vision will outlive it, because it's supposed to be a work in progress for generations after you to continue, even in a different direction. So it's a work in progress in that aspect. So if we understand that, then we will not be worried by the fact that, oh, maybe I didn't even finish my assignment on earth. Your assignment will outlive you if it's from God.
Exactly. That's it.
So there's nothing to be worried about. You just do your bit. Be sure that you have that perfect alignment, and continue checking in him, understanding that you are limited as an individual, which comes back to maybe the final thought I have here, which has to do with limitation. Og Magdino says that your only limitations are the ones you set up in your mind or permit others to set for you, which again comes back to, it's your choice. It's your choice to allow those limitations to work against you, or you leverage those limitations, what we call limitations, actually leverage them so that they become launching pads for you to succeed in life.
Awesome. Now, Ramona was saying something. Wow, your assignment will outlive you. And which is the truth, because when you talk about legacy, your legacy is your assignment. Your legacy is your assignment, and it should outlive you. It should outlive you. Your legacy, and just like what Dotun said, that when you're constantly checking with the Heavenly Father, right, he's showing you your legacy. He's showing you what he has called you to do, because your legacy will always point the two: true calling, passion, whatever you might want to call it, true calling, life purpose, and legacy. They should be pointing at each other. You know, if I ask you today, what is your legacy? What would you like your legacy to be? And you tell me something, and I say, what's your true passion? And you say something totally different. I'm going to tell you, you might want to go and look at some things, because you might be going through some vision crisis or identity crisis, because those two things should mirror each other. So if you are in a position right now where you can't figure out what you like, you think your legacy should be, and yet your true calling too is all over the chart, then you might want to retrieve a little bit. Find yourself a mentor. Dr. is a mentor. I'm a mentor. There are mentors out there. Find yourself great mentors that can really, because mentors are placed into your lives too, to be able to speak into your life, to be able to help you mold, mold this thing called life, to be able to fish your way through whatever it is that looks like is so uncertain that you're not sure of. So whatever it is that you may be going through right now, please, 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 I ask you today, it's important for you. I said it in 2015. If you don't have a mentor in 2016, I think you're making the gravest mistake of your life. Because if you want to leap and jump, it's incredible, it's necessary. I'm telling you now, Dotun has mentors in his life, all right? And so some of the mistakes that the mentor may have made, he can avoid it right now, because now his own packaging tool is even better. The way he delivers it is even better. And I bet his mentors probably will look at him and say, dang, I didn't think about this. Look at where this guy brought this in another form of fashion. So that's why you need a mentor. Look, 30 years of my life I spent thinking I'm the mentor, the mentee, and everything all. And then to top it all, when you have too many degrees, it might give you a little bit of illusion about who you really think you who you think you are. And so for me, I spent 30 years, graduated at 16, and then I spent the remaining, for some years trying to figure out what do I want to be when I grow up. And so if you are at a point right now where you really know you need to make decisions, there are decisions you need to make about your life. There are decisions about dreams and visions. There are decisions about your business. There are decisions. Bottom line, we're telling you, we're not saying to quit your job tomorrow. We're just saying you might need to regroup and start to really see yourself in all of the greatness that God has called you. Working a 9-to-5 job is not all of your greatness, people. And that's why when people like that, when you're in that 9-to-5 and they finally fire you, or you're 9-to-5 and you spent all your life serving them and it's over, you don't know who you are anymore. You're looking in the mirror and it's like, okay, now, so am I supposed to be doing something else here? Because I have no clue. Okay, so Ramon says, don't grow alone. I'm going to reach out to you, please. Oh, awesome, Ramon. Yes, do not grow alone. Do not grow alone. It is foolishness, people. Complete foolishness. Utter foolishness. If you want Dotun, we're gonna tell. Can you tell them what your information is too? Because I'm telling you right now, on this show, I'm going to be bringing to you mentors. I'm going to be bringing to you life coaches. I will be bringing to you people that will impact value, just like Dotun has done in your lives today. I'm going to be bringing them to you, because this is what your Vision Touch is about. If you have not gotten your copy, I would suggest right now, please go to Amazon. It is Success Blueprints. It is not the blueprints there, because Jesus is the master blueprint writer. This just happened to be the blueprint that he gave me. But you can always learn. You can always learn. You can always learn from people. You can always learn from people like Dotun. You can learn from people like me. You can just always learn. With me, I have 2 mentors right now, and I am paying top dollar for it. It is hurting me bad, but you know what? It's okay, because I know I'm getting value for what they're doing. I'm getting incredible value for what it is. So if you have not picked this up, please pick this up. And of course, reach out to Dotun, reach out to myself. Dotun, you're gonna be coming back. I don't think we're not done with you. I'm not done. Forget it. I'm not done. Let me just put it that way. I am not done with you. All right. So I don't know about anybody, but I am not done with you. And you gave me an awesome idea now, that bringing you back and bringing maybe 1 or 2 more people, because people need to understand the value of mentorship. They just got mentored in less than how many? In 60 minutes, you just got mentored right now. In 60 minutes, you got mentored. And so if you do not have a mentor, please reach out to me, and then I'll talk to Dotun too, because I think we can make some things happen here for people who are looking. You know, you can do the lifestyle, I can do the writing, because that's what I love to do, and that's what I love to do. That's what I love to do. And so we can make this happen. You guys can literally live your dream. You can live your dream, not just, you can live it. You know, if you've been thinking, oh, maybe this is not possible, we're here to tell you it is absolutely possible. And it starts with, that's right, Ramona got it, team mentoring and coaching. Yes, it starts with mentoring, it starts with coaching. Coaches need mentors too. Look, I'm a mentor, and I have 2 mentors. My mentors have mentors. So it's as high as you want to go. My mentors, 2 of them they're actually going after an asset. At the end of this year, their asset will hit $1 billion. Are you hearing me? I'm not talking about 1 million, 1 billion people. All right. So as you go higher, then you just keep pushing. So I'm going after them and they know me, Princess. I'm just going. Whatever they tell me to do, I do, because I want to be where they are. And likewise, let's not waste our time. You know, January is past now, people. Don't waste your time anymore. If you know you need mentorship, you better reach out and begin to do the work. Do the work. Get my mentorship for guidance so you don't make errors. So can you just give us, Dotun, as we close out? Thank you all so much. Make us reach up on our tiptoe to get all that God out. That's right. That's what mentors do. They make you reach up, on your tiptoes to get all that God has had for you. So, all right. So, Dalton, do you want to close us out? Thank you all so much for being a part of this. Next Thursday, we're going to be back. You know, I can promise you that Dalton will not be back. Did you hear me, Dalton? I cannot promise you all that Dalton will not. I didn't say will not be back. I can't promise that. So I'm just letting you all know now. So if you got value for what he's done today, meet us again next Thursday, because I cannot promise you that he will not be here. So give us your last wisdom nugget.
So thank you for the opportunity and the privilege to be here in this wonderful forum, and for all the wonderful people who are listening online. I believe life in itself is a story, and whether we see life as a story and we recognize that our life is a story is another different thing. But the reality is that life is a story, our life is a story, and we have the choice to make here, and that is to be the main character in our own story. We should not allow another person to take that place, another person or another thing in form of something we settle for in life, which is less than what we've been made to be, which, for example, would be like, I settle for a job, you know, so that I can be in my comfort zone where there's no growth. You need to rise above that and make you, as in you, the main character in your own story. You need to live life on your own demands. And that's why I showed you what even God has said about you. And no. Your success is in your hands. It's your choice. Do what is necessary. You set yourself up for success. You can go and read it again. Many times we read verses and we become so accustomed to it, we already have a frame of mind about it. But when I was going through it again, the Rima just jumped and said, wow, I've not seen this in this way before. It's saying, look, you will set yourself up for prosperity and you will have success. It's up to you. I said, I've never seen this way. So I need to be the main character of my own story.
That's it.
You need to be the main character of your own story. You have all that it takes. It's already been given to you. You just need to make that perfect alignment, and the rest is history. So thank you once again for having me. And we hope to see you around once again.
What do you mean you hope? You know what? I don't think my brother is getting what I just said here. I just used Nigeria for him, and he's still not getting it. All right? So we have the power to change our atmosphere. We have the power and the ability to change our atmosphere. And next week on Thursday, around this time again, 8 o'clock Central Time, we will be dealing with chapter 2, right, Dotun? Chapter 2, and that will be house cleaning. Now, that's going to be really interesting. House cleaning, that will be very interesting because we're talking about literary and spiritual, everything. What do we have to do to prepare ourselves? Because it's one thing to say, yeah, I want to be wealthy. Yes, I'm ready. But we need preparation too. We need preparation so that we don't self-destruct on our success. So next week, Thursday at 8 o'clock, please meet us here again. Tweet this out, share this, because there's going to be a link after this. I will post that link on Facebook, Your Vision Torch like page on Facebook. Please grab it, send it around. This time next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be back and we will be talking on chapter 2, house cleaning. So thank you all so much. We won't take any much of your time. Do we have any questions? Any more questions? If there are no more questions, then we will call this a wrap. Thank you all so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. Clarissa, thank you for joining. Inkechi, thank you. Ramon, thank you. Well, let's see now. Maxine, thank you. Robert, thank you. Oh, wow. Let me see. Oh, that gentleman that was here early.
Thank you.
Some Beast Tech, thank you. We just want to thank everybody. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. You made this an awesome blab. So thank you all so much. We hope that we've given you value for this. Thank you too. Thank you both. Oh, you're welcome. Get in action, get in motion. That's right, Ramona. Yes, Ramona. So I will be expecting an email from you, princessinsuburbia@gmail.com. And yes, this will not be the last you're going to see. I'm not saying hear. I say see our dear brother there, because seeing means that you're going to be seeing somebody through something and not just hearing or watching him type. So thank you all so much for joining us. Dotun, thank you so much for adding value to our discussion tonight, and hopefully we'll be prepared, right? You're the one who's been saying we need to be prepared, right? So I'm just gonna say it again. Can I steal you for next Thursday?
Sure.
All right,
sure.
Awesome. We can do this. We can make this happen.
I think I wanted to say something as well, that for those who are online today, that if they could read the second chapter, because we sort of like set the tone. So we can make this into like a proper mastermind. So everyone goes home now. Let's read chapter 2 together, so that next week it's not just Princess and I that are talk, offering our whatever. You also can jump on the hot seat, and then let's really make it interactive, because we learn. That's what I found out from masterminds. We learn from each other. There's a lot I want to soak from you as well. That's why I don't mind volunteering for this. It's a learning process for me as well. So let's all go home and read chapter 2 in preparation for next week. And then let's be ready to bring something that's true mastermind. We are doing this in the spirit of harmony, and then we are going to grow together, learn together, and great things will happen in our lives together, so that we can all win together.
Awesome.
So thank you.
So bottom line is that open sit there. If you all have questions, if you have anything to add to it, we're gonna patch you on to that empty seat.
Be ready to jump on the hot seat.
So that you not be the only one on the hot seat. So that way you guys be prepared. If you have questions, if you have value, please just be prepared. We'll patch you on, and then you can sit there too and just enjoy it. Thank you all so much, Dotun. Thank you so much. I will see you on Periscope land, and we will talk behind the scenes, because Thursday you're going to be here on the same hot set. Bye now. Bye everyone. Thank you all so much. Bye bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.